Welcome to the Headbanger's journey here on Hardtimes.ca. I'm Double D. Right now I'm joined by Mr. Dave Brockie, also known as Oderus Urungus from GWAR.
That's what they tell me.
And he's in town tonight. He's going to be judging the Heavy MTL Battle of the Bands, and you're going to be able to check out that footage right here on Hardtimes.ca. So, well, first of all, welcome back to Montreal.
It's always a great pleasure to be here in Canada, land of my birth. A lot of people don't know that lead singer GWAR is actually a Canadian. I have a resident alien status in the United States, and I've often thought that I would end up back here because of your fine dental plan.
Well, you came at a good week to it. It's Poutine week. Did you have any poutine here in Montreal?
It's actually, you have a poutine week?
Yeah, I just heard that actually on the way here on the radio.
I love it. I love it. I'm totally into some poutine. I was getting into the smoked meat today, though. Freaking smoked meat in Montreal is unlike anywhere else in the entire world.
The best.
It is. Oh, my God.
All right, well, let's fire away. Okay, I want to talk about GWAR, first of all. I know you started off, you guys were called Death Piggy. And then tell us about how that all started and how it evolved into the GWAR we know today.
Well, we were just, Death Piggy was a little three-piece hardcore band. I kind of had been coming up in the DC hardcore scene, like in 1980. I graduated high school in 81, and I found it very stifling, the whole straight edge thing. Bands like Minor Threat, I loved the way they sounded, but I didn't like what their lyrics were all about. It seemed they had all together too much to do with the jocks that used to terrorize me at high school. And, I go down to shows in D.C., and I get the shit kicked out of me. And then I went away to art school in Richmond, and I met a lot of people that were into punk rock and into metal that were a lot more tolerant and a lot more, into having a good time rather than, imposing their social rules upon everybody else. And so I met a bunch of really awesome artists that were building these crazy props and costumes for this movie they wanted to make called Scumdogs of the Universe. And I was like, guys, you gotta let me borrow the costumes one night for my band Death Piggy, and we'll do a fake band before Death Piggy called GWAR. And we would come out there and literally we would play like 2 or 3 just horrible songs. I was actually playing guitar back then, a terrible guitar player. And we would leave the stage, and Death Piggy would come back out. And after we'd done that a few times, we were just amazed because we'd come out as GWAR, and there'd be 500 people there, and then we'd run back off stage, come back out as Death Piggy, and there'd be 50 people there. And we were like, ooh, what is this visual clue telling us here? And so we were like, you know what? We're not going to do this movie Scumdogs in the Universe, and we're not going to do Death Piggy. So kind of both camps gave up on their big plan and merged them together into one new thing, which was GWAR, and that's how it all got started.
Well, the first original Scumdog costumes, were they as well crafted as the ones that we see today, or what were they made of?
They were made as well as we could make them from back then, as well as we could do, using old couch cushions and Elmer's glue and cheesecloth and stuff, or actually old cut up bed sheets were a big pieces of scrap foam, and when we find old electric carving knives, like your dad might have carved the turkey with, we would find those and we carve foam shapes out of those. And so, we certainly made that stuff to last, but we just got better at it over the years. We discovered latex rubber finally, and that just kind of changed everything. That was a game changer for us. We discovered latex, and we discovered how to make clay sculptures and then molds off of those sculptures. So we were able to get so much more detail, and then once we had latex rubber, it was so much more durable, and so costumes would last forever. The thing about latex is, especially when you're doing a big, ugly, odorous face, the older it gets, the cooler it looks, because it just gets nastier and nastier and nastier. So,
do you actually have any of your original props?
Oh, sure. I still have a lot. I mean, they'll show up in weird places, weird boxes in my basement. I found the old Oderus mask. I think it was the one actually from Scumdogs that I wear on the cover of Scumdogs, and all that was left of it was the nose, a couple of the eyebrows, and an ear. Damn if I didn't get $900 for that thing on eBay.
Your basement must be one scary place, man.
There's way too many boxes. This year I went through all of my crap and organized it and put it into boxes, and realized I just have way too many boxes. I'm thinking of just selling them. Box of Dave Brockie's stuff. Could be anything, put like a $600 reserve on it. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like when you've been around for 28 years doing this, as long as we have, saved every single piece of art that we've ever done. You know, it's like you don't have a lot of sentimental attachment to these things anymore. You just really want to get them out, and if you can get money for them, that's even better. So it's turned so far from just a band and a performance experience. Now we're starting to like figure out just ways to get our art out there just all over the place. And I'd much rather have a lot of people like, oh, how could you sell an original Oderus mask? I would much rather have it in some fan's house where they've built some crazy altar, you know, and like when people come over, they all touch the Oderus mask. You know, I would much rather have that than have it sitting in some dark box in my basement.
Well, speaking of getting your art out there, over the years, GWAR has gotten like a lot of pretty big TV spots, WWE notably, and Jerry Springer. That's where I first saw
that
you
was
guys.
a big one, yeah.
How did those opportunities land on your doorstep?
You know, it's just people know people. It's like I remember we ended up on Beavis and Butthead because a friend of ours, John Lynn, was from Richmond, Virginia, and he'd gone to school with us, and he moved up to New York. He started working for MTV, started working for Mike Judge, and Mike Judge was like, oh, I need a really messed up band to be in this new animated series. I got to have the most there. You know, this animated series I have about these two crazy characters named Beavis and Butthead. They've got to have like the craziest band in the world that they love. And John Lynn was just like, I know one. And no one had really heard of GWAR back then. But boom, all of a sudden, GWAR was all over Beavis and Butthead. And that was like, generally those things are like a word of mouth kind of stuff. And whether they'll happen or not happen, sooner or later it'll come down to one person who says yay or nay.
All right, well, more specifically, the questions I wanted to ask was about the Jerry Springer. How much of that was scripted? Like, well, those other guests that were there.
It wasn't scripted, but it was fake. Like,
that one guy's band. Was that fucking guy for real? I forgot what
Dick Decker. Oh no! First of all, yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
El Duce, that band was for real. But as far as him saying stuff like, "Oh yeah, the groupies light up by the backstage door to blow me," I mean that was all part. El Duce was just as much a character as Oderus Urungus, who's a
playing
character
the heel.
to me. Yeah, Eldon, he was a really good friend of mine. He lived pretty rough. You know, he was a famous Hollywood wino, and but he was actually a very talented drummer, and he had great lyrics, and he just embraced the alcohol just way too much, and it just ultimately destroyed him. But his band was for real, and the Mentors are classic band, and GWAR owes a lot to the Mentors because Eldon was El Duce, as he was known. He came through town, we opened up for the Mentors, and then he continued his tour over the rest of the United States and Canada, and everywhere he went, he told people about GWAR, and that kind of paved the way for our first tour.
So while on the topic of television, before we move on, so I wanted to ask about what happened between Fox News and Oderus.
I got the boot after 13 episodes of, I thought, pretty quality programming. I mean, Red Eye really is kind of a stinky show. It's like Fox News' version of The Daily Show. It's like The Daily Show for right-wing assholes, basically. And but Greg, the host, is an old-time GWAR fan, and you really got to wonder about Greg's politics. You know, what kind of game is he playing to have this job but still support something like GWAR? So I was kind of the ghost in the machine, if you will. But when the higher ups at Fox found out that through some pundit websites that GWAR was maiming Sarah Palin every night on tour, they came down on Greg like a ton of bricks, and they were just like, you cannot have this dude on your show anymore.
Okay, so it wasn't nothing personal.
It was nothing personal. Greg was, I met Greg, and we had a couple beers, and he was just like, he played completely ignorant. He's like, I didn't know you really killed Sarah Palin. I'm like, we've killed every president since fucking Reagan. He's like, really? I'm like, come on, Greg. He's like, dude, yeah, he has to play the game. And and at that point, I was just like, sometimes you think, wow, it'd be so cool to like have that apartment in Midtown and have that cool late night show, and then you realize that he's got to kowtow to a boss who can come into his show and tell him what to do, who's on, who's off.
Pissing off a sponsor or whatnot.
Yeah, and to me, that is just like, I would much rather be a working class rock star than a successful lackey.
Okay, well, you mentioned about cutting people up on stage with GWAR. Over the years, GWAR and Oderus, and there's been you guys had a lot of fun with things that's been going on in the news and stuff like that. Not really, but you voice your opinions. Was there ever anything that you wouldn't touch, or you plan, like, you ever will not touch? Somebody asked you, we should do this, and then you kind of like backed off of it.
Well, I mean, like, we wouldn't, like, right after something like the Newt shooting, we wouldn't go in there and do, like, but, like, probably the worst thing we ever did that was probably a little too close was after the Virginia Tech school shootings, when that guy, like, went berserk and killed, like, 30 people in Virginia Tech, which was right down the road from us. We had, about 6 months after that, we had him run out on stage with 2 guns and just start firing into the crowd, and then we had a slave with a tally score. He's like, he's going for the record, ladies and gentlemen. He got up to 38, and like the GWAR came running over and beat the shit out of him and killed him. And like these cops were there, like watching the whole thing, and you could just see their faces. They were just like, but by the end of it, they were laughing. I mean, somehow we got away with it. It's like we try to pick our targets, in a way that's like not. This might sound strange, but not just blatantly offensive. We want to have a little meat to our humor. We want it to be satirical and sardonic and cynical rather than just blatantly offensive. My dick is hanging out, It's like, even though that's what it is as well. So, I don't know. It's a fine line, but like, I find if you just throw enough humor into it, you can get away with it and stay away from the N-word, and you'll be fine.
So I heard GWAR.
Not even J-Lo can get away with the N-word, so.
Really? What,
she said it in her song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was like, all my N-word people, and like everyone was like, you're not African American, so shut the hell up.
Well, that shows you know more than me about J-Lo.
Well, we're from America. I'm from America.
Anyway.
I've always been a J-Lo fan. She's got a badass dude.
All right, well, let's get back to some GWAR music. Okay, Bloody Pit of Horror was the last release. I heard you guys were doing some recording. Is that true?
Oh yeah, we've been recording nonstop really for the last year. Though we just started doing a final tracks this last week. After we lost Corey Hail Corey, we launched on a year-long search for a new guitar player. And first guy we tried out was a really good friend of Corey's named Brent Ferguson. And we went through a bunch of different guys, and it turned out the last guy we tried out was Brent. We're like, you got the job. And that whole year, we've been working on songs. So we have like 18 songs like in the pipe right now already that we're working on right now. Brad's probably at home in Richmond right now playing drums. So I would look for wrapping this thing up in the next 2 months, 2-3 months, and the record will be out this fall. And it's gonna be a big one. I mean, it's gonna be a big. We've had replaced 2 members since our last record. And I think Bloody Pit of Horror is one of the heaviest, sickest sounding records we've ever done. And what's the point of putting out records unless the one you're doing now is better than the last one? This is a huge challenge for us. This is to lose Corey and to not have KM, for Casey to have moved on and be working with Ministry now. Those are big building blocks of a band, but we know we're going to be fine. We're GWAR. We're mighty GWAR. We're gonna rock. You've been doing it so long, it's easier than ever. People are often like, how can you stand it? It's like, you know what? The first 10 years of GWAR were the hard years. Now it's easy. I can just do it no matter what. It's we're grizzled, veteran mercenary warriors now, and we love to play music. So there you go.
Okay, well, before we wrap this up, I just wanted to ask you a couple of fan questions I got sent to me. Okay, Dayboy wants to know, how many inches is Oderus Urungus' plastic cock?
It's not plastic, it's latex. It's a big difference. And I think it's about down to my kneecaps now, so what is that? It's the metric system up here, right? It's 3 feet, 2 feet, 25 inches.
There you go. All right, okay, and JD wants to know, what gave you guys the idea for the name and the names for your costumes? I guess particularly yours. Did you create yours?
Yeah. Actually, it kind of was like little. We started doing it. Hunter had the idea. Hunter, who's the original technical instructor, he had the idea for like the shoulder pads with the spikes on it, and I kind of morphed those. They were uncomfortably looked like German helmets, so I made them more skull-like shape. I didn't want to be tagged with any political party, but Then added the head. That was just, and then the cuttlefish, of course, I named that myself. And then, once I had the basic look for Oderus, he's pretty much looked the same way ever since then. I'll do like different versions of, it seems like the cuttlefish gets bigger every year. But he's pretty much stayed the same the whole way and concentrated more on developing his personality and his vocal skills.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for your time, Dave. Before we wrap this up, I want to ask you one last question. I asked this of Oderus last year when I interviewed him. I want to ask Dave this now, since you're his human slave. If two bands fucked and GWAR were the child, what two bands would be the parents?
Alice Cooper and Eartha Kitt.
All right. Thanks for your time. Try not to be too hard on the kids tonight.
Oh, I'll be good. Don't worry. We'll be nice to them.
Give it up for Dot! And judges, you know what to do.
First of all, I'd like to review your review of Dot. It was a very good review of Dot. I thought also the way that you said that their name was cool, Dot, was right to the point. I like that. That was good. Dot, I enjoyed your performance very much. I thought your vocals were very strong. I thought my only critique would be the guitar could come up. I definitely could hear some more crunch and guitar coming up out of there. I thought the songwriting was interesting, especially your third song stood out very much. Really, the way you guys handled the in-between song segments and your general presentation. The band looks good. You're all very attractive young men. And generally, I thought you guys kicked fucking ass. So I'm gonna have to say, Dot is, up until this point, Dot is the clear. They're running away with the game right now. So hell yeah, I would get. Well, there's no kind of numbers or anything, but I would say that is definitely an 8 out of 10. I'd even say 8.5, and put a dot in it.
Keep it going for Project F! Oh, judges, pick up your microphone and wow us with your words.
From a band that has a lot to do with visual image, I think you're going for something outrageous. I think you've got a good start, but I have suggestions. I think you should go further with it. I think you should wear banana hammocks and completely paint your entire bodies black. And then throw flour on each other so you look like more grotesque. I mean, a lot of people have done the Blade Runner faces. You can go further with it, and you can make it very disturbing because you have a nice physical look to the band. I like the throbbing kind of bass sound that you have. I don't know if those keyboard parts were tracked or not, but if they were tracked, I'm not so fond of that. As I said, you have a good front man. This is the life and death of a band, but apparently he is also a vampire, so this is a good thing. But I'm also sad to say that he is dying of cancer because I see he is on the pack of cigarettes here. So I'm sorry about that. You have an excellent geometric symbol. I think some of the songs you started out with more disjointed, kind of fucked up sounding stuff. That was more favorite. But sometimes the songs may be a bit repetitive. But I like a band that's not afraid to play a long song. Hey, and you don't shut the fuck up when the judges are talking, please. And finally, okay.
Truth is scared, everybody, one more time! Hey, judges, you know what to do.
I agree with all those guys. Except for I just love skeleton, I love glow-in-the-dark skeletons, but I think you gotta make this drummer be a glow-in-the-dark skeleton as well. I know how hot he is, he's sweating really hard, but get him a jumpsuit and some green stuff on it, and that way all of you guys will be glow-in-the-dark green skeletons and look cooler. And I thought the music sounded really good. Maybe, I don't know if it was tuning, it was a little teeny bit sloppy at times, but it was okay because it had tons of heart. work on your harmonies a little. Your feeds were awesome. The only issue I have with the band is maybe the name isn't the greatest. So I came up with a couple names for you guys, just for your consideration. Bucket full of rancid monkey vomit was one of them there. If you fuck me, I'm gonna kill you. That was another one. And the filthy, wretched scavengers of homeless people's scrotums. Thank you. I thought you guys were good.
Keep it going for Ocean Nix! St. Judges! Do your thing!
Alright, first of all, I want to say that saw a lot of really cool bands tonight, right? And met a lot of really cool people. Thank you very much for having me. Met a lot of really cool people. Drank a lot of really cool drinks tonight, but still one thing had not happened to me tonight. I had not had my balls ripped off. That was until I saw your band play. That's all I have to say about you guys. Oh, one thing. Get uglier. They're obviously, this is not a costume, okay? This is these guys. This is real. This is for real. But they can get fucking uglier. I'm saying they can get uglier.
People take showers in Montreal. These guys are actually quite dirty.
And also, you gotta get a better thing for your bass strap. That's the only other criticism I had. Besides that, I loved it. I thought it was fucking awesome. It took my fucking head off. There's nothing I can say. I thought it sounded fucking great. It's the band I've been waiting to hear all fucking night. I loved all the other bands. Other bands are super cool. But that's the kind of music I like to listen to. The kind you guys play. It's harder and harder and harder to find good bands because we've been making fucking heavy metal music now for 30 fucking plus years. It's harder than ever to fucking make a good fucking metal song. And you guys fucking just blew my nuts off for 4 in a row. So best of luck. And you have a fucking hot Asian drummer who looks like she just stepped out of Road Warrior, okay? Done.
I don't know what to say. I think we said it all. Tonight, there was 4 bands, all 4 bands.
Asian is Filipino on it?
Yeah. We'll get back to that in a moment.
Fuck yeah!